In this bulletin, Christian grandmothers disrupt military exercises. Iran nuclear deal highlights Christian persecution. And learning to rest on the Sabbath sofa.
This is InFocus Christian News and Current Affairs.
Australia's biggest military exercises were disrupted earlier this month by a group calling themselves the Quaker Grannies. The Quakers, with their 350-year record of opposing violence and war, held a simple tea party in a restricted military area in Rockhampton, Queensland. According to the ABC, the Talisman Sabre exercises are jointly conducted every 2 years by the Australian and US militaries. After spending an hour blockading a gate to the complex and negotiating with soldiers, the Christian protesters were arrested and removed by police. Each of them pled guilty to trespassing and was fined $500. No convictions were recorded. It's become commonplace for Australian Christians to organise mission trips to the Pacific Islands to build church or school buildings, but Hume Ridge Church of Christ in Toowoomba, Queensland, is taking the concept to the next level. Their planned project in Gandep, Papua New Guinea, involves upgrading an airfield, constructing 2 bridges and running 15 kilometres of road through the rainforest. Estimated cost? A bargain at $2 million. The low figure is made possible by the fact that volunteers will be doing a lot of the work. Fundraising is currently in full swing. Organisers say the project will improve access to road and air transport for about 170 villages, with a combined population of 20,000 people. Christian tertiary education is moving ahead in Australia, with an Adventist College on New South Wales Central Coast strengthening its partnership with a public university. Students graduating from degree courses at Avondale College of Higher Education this year will receive a testament bearing Avondale's seal, as well as that of Charles Sturt University. CSU has been supporting Avondale as it upgrades its academic and organisational standards, with a view to eventually becoming a university in its own right. Australia currently has 3 Christian universities. 2 of those are Catholic. The announcement of US President Obama's planned agreement with Iran to limit its nuclear ambitions has triggered an outcry from a variety of critics. Among those concerned are religious freedom groups, who are disappointed the agreement contains no requirement that Iran improve its commitment to human rights. Iran remains in the top 10 of the Open Doors World Watch List, which ranks countries according to the extent and severity of Christian persecution in their territory. In the US, Nagmeh Abedini, whose Christian pastor husband has been imprisoned in Iran for the last 2.5 years, pled with members of the Congress not to forget his situation. According to CBN News, Saeed Abedini is one of 90 Christians imprisoned for their faith in Iran. The United Nations has come under fire from a Catholic-based pro-life group that says this year's World Population Day is raising false alarm in its push for abortion, sterilisation and contraception. World Population Day highlights the work of the United Nations Population Fund, which focuses on the reproductive rights of women and girls, particularly those in developing countries. But the US-based Population Research Institute points out that global population growth rates have been declining for some time and questions whether the continued focus on birth control is justified. For the last few months, a cow on a farm in New Jersey has attracted 37,000 visitors. Someone even offered $1 million to buy her. The excitement is over the heifer's colour, red. The Old Testament book of Numbers says the ashes of a red heifer are to be used in preparing water for ceremonial purification. Today, some Jewish and Christian groups believe the recipe will be essential for the purification of humanity, when the Messiah comes and the temple in Jerusalem is rebuilt. Not everyone is convinced, however.
Yeah, I think for people who are interested in this sort of thing and wondering those that have something to do with the end of the world, this type of speculation really, I think it's better to go right into the heart of the Bible itself. Start reading the books of Daniel, the book of Revelation, and the book of Hebrews. There is so much there that helps us point us in the right direction for what's about to take place in the end of the world.
A surprise development has caused some dismay, however. The red heifer has had a calf, disqualifying her for ceremonial use. This month marks 100 years since the death of one of the key founders of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Ellen G. White. Over several decades, Mrs. White offered spiritual advice to the growing movement in America and Australia on the strength of her commitment to Bible truth and prophetic insights. With 40 books and more than 5,000 articles to her credit, it's been claimed that Ellen White, who only had a third-grade education, is the world's most translated female non-fiction author. A weekend conference in California, the place of her death, celebrated Ellen White's ongoing contribution. Also, to mark the occasion, 50,000 of her personal letters and other manuscripts were released publicly and are now online. This year also marks a significant anniversary for the world's most read English translation of the Bible. In 1965, a group of evangelical scholars meeting in Chicago was commissioned to go back to the most reliable biblical manuscripts available and prepare a brand new translation of the Bible in modern English. The result was the New International Version. 50 years later, 450 million copies of the NIV have been printed. To mark the occasion, NIV publisher Zondervan is releasing a new study Bible with updated notes, articles and charts. In a country where people are often reserved about their religious beliefs, 3 young Adventist pastors have come up with a way to get people talking.
Do you watch the news?
Yeah.
Yeah? What about it?
It's like a lot of the stuff, for example, what's going on in Russia at the moment.
Wow.
Now I'm looking for a new job because I've got no more energy to do it.
A couch sitting in the middle of a London footpath attracts attention, and many people love the idea of taking a rest.
Imagine that you could take 24 hours out of your life every single week, let's just say from a Friday sunset to a Saturday sunset.
Okay.
And in that time, you could rest.
Amazing. That sounds incredible.
Yeah?
Sounds like a dream.
A dream?
Come true.
Really?
Yeah.
I do need a day like that.
The Sabbath sofa has been popping up in all kinds of unexpected places, but the outreach team says that due to the weather in the UK, indoor locations are probably safest. Nestling deep in the jungles of central Java is perhaps one of the world's most unusual places of worship. 25 years ago, Christian man Daniel Alamja, in obedience to what he felt was a vision from God, began construction of a house of prayer in the shape of a dove. But after 10 years of building, the project ran into financial problems and had to be abandoned. According to the Mail Online, locals call the decaying structure the Chicken Church, and every year hundreds of tourists and worshippers of many different religions seek it out. And that's the news for this week. There are more Record InFocus videos, political commentary, lifestyle tips and inspirational interviews at our website, record.net.au. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. God bless.